Afternoon, good morning, and good day wherever you are. And you joined me today for a very, very exciting live stream where today we will be converting this Daihatsu Mira TRXX as of now. Here is the car in question. And not that it was done intentionally. In the background there you see my HDRI with the flying Ferrari F40 in clay, and that's what we're going to be working with today. So I do have a fan on in the background, so if you can hear it and it's causing disturbance, please do let me know and I will turn it off. However, I am enjoying the nice cool breeze, so it would be nice to keep it on. But if I need to, I'm more than happy to turn it off. So, as I said, without further ado, let's go! Okay, so we're going to start off by opening, or keeping it open, but we're going to have this bottom left-hand viewport here open with fully shaded up so that we can always see the progress, all nicely shaded up. Let's move that over like so. Let's turn off overlays in this window only, like so, and let's have a nice angle, something like this. This area here will be another 3D viewport, and let's close that one. Let's turn off perspective. Let's have just side view in this one, I guess. Okay, and let's disable selection, which it already is. And so the first thing we do, as always, is make sure we're in grid. So let's turn on the grid to check it. There we go. So front wheel is in line with the Y0. Let's make sure that the car is standing on the floor, which I guess it is, but just make sure we've got a little bit of tire crush. So we're gonna double click on that, double click on this collection to select everything. Let's have a little 3D view in this view, and then here zoom in a little bit. And we're just going to tap our directional cursor downwards until we get a little bit of tire crush, which is not really visible yet. Oh, there's a little bit there. Let's tap it down a little bit further, shall we? Something like that. Give it a little bit of stance. So let's first of all clean the model to see if there's anything that doesn't look right. Make sure that the scale is correct. So if we select that, we look over here, the scale is at 0.25, so we need to change that back to 1. So if we select all, we see that all this, or do we? Yeah, so I've scaled it so that it fits better, but does that mean that it's the correct scale? What we're going to do here is just create a cube, and that is probably about right, I'd say. So if that's 2 meters, let's just go with that. We can always change it later, but I think that should be correct. Yeah, so let's select all, and then change. Oops. Let's apply all transforms. Is there anything that we want to keep? I don't think so. So yeah, so apply all transform, and it will change all these back to 1. Now if I select that, it will tell me that the length of this is 3.345 meters, which does seem very small. So if we just Google Daihatsu mirror dimensions. So the length 3.35 and we have 3.35, so that looks pretty accurate. Next thing we're going to do is, let's see what all this stuff here is. So I've previously made a rotate, a scale, a scaler, which we're going to use. So we put that into the scene collection. That was what everything was attached to. So everything was parented to this empty here. So if we just select everything and clear parenting, we can now get rid of that because we won't need that. We will need rotate for the wheel, but it's in the wrong place. So let's delete. Oh, actually, let's move it to the correct place. So if we put the cursor to selected, just put it in the center of the front wheel. And now if we select rotate and we move selection to cursor, that empty will be in the correct place. So we're going to parent the wheel to that empty. So if we just find where the wheels are, so that's the wheel, let's call that one tire, and let's grab this one and we rename this one rim. Let's rename, actually we don't need the other wheels, do we? So okay, so that's good as a starting point. Turn on a bit of perspective again, have another look, see if anything looks out of place. If there's any changes we want to make to any of the shaders, we do that now as well, because later on we'll have to double up the work. So for example, anything glass, we don't want it to be casting a shadow. So all the glass objects are in one object. So let's select it and let's go to visibility and let's turn off shadows. In fact, let's turn off everything other than camera. So it will be visible to the camera, but it won't be casting any shadows. So if you look, for example, inside here, or even in, well, there won't be an interior, but it won't be casting any shadows on the interior, which actually is all shiny like that, which probably means that the normals are inside out, which they're not. It's just a very shiny interior for some reason. As I said, we will not be using the interior anyway, for obvious reasons, so let's just not worry about that any further. Okay, so let's have a look. What's this empty doing here? So that's our, that empty we don't need either. That's going to be our scalar, which is down there. Right, good. Okay, so this is going to be our reference. Duplicate that, and then this is what we're going to be working with. So let's isolate that. Let's select an item. Let's select all. Let's go to edit mode. Make sure nothing's hidden. Select all. Deselect. Let's select a big chunk out the middle. Let's grab the back, and then let's separate selection. Select the back again. Then this time move it to a new collection, call it RR, which stands of course for rear. Let's move that up to there. And then let's select the center of the back wheel, which might be a little bit tricky. Let's turn off the face orientation. Okay, so we need to select just a tire. So let's do it like so. So we're just going to select the tire, the outside of the tire, select plus to select, extend the selection. And now let's go to face mode and then hide this. Then we're going to select that edge loop. Then we're going to put cursor to selected. Then we're going to add a new, or are we? No, we're going to put origin to 3D cursor. Then with that still selected, we're going to, careful we don't select the scalar. So make scalar, disable selection on the scalar. Now select that back wheel again, select all, parent everything to that back wheel, move it to Y0 so it overlaps, and that is the basis of what we will be working with. It looks like the width might be very similar, so that's a good start. Let's check our ground plane and make it solid. Sorry, my bad. Make it wire. Disable selection again. Now let's go to, let's just bring everything up again. Let's clear parenting, and then let's isolate the front, and let's delete anything we don't need. So it would be those bits, and maybe we can just delete. Actually, there's not that many items on here, so what we're going to do here is let's move everything other than the wheels. Sorry, let's hide everything other than the wheels. Hide, and let's put the wheel. We can delete the one on the offside. Delete that. Let's grab that wheel, move it to a new collection. Call that wheel. Enter. There we go. So that's our wheel. Let's select all. Delete. Let's bring the front back up. Let's move this to our wheel collection. Now let's select an object, select all, go to edit mode, make sure nothing's selected or hidden rather. Select all, and then let's go to bisect. Let's cut it right down the middle like this, and then let's reset these back to 0, 0, 0, 0, make this one 1, and then clear inner. And then let's go to rear view, and let's just quickly flick the back wheel on and off just to confirm that the wheel on the back is exactly the same as the front, which it is. Let's go back to the back. Let's delete the wheels. And now let's select an object, select all, edit mode, make sure nothing's hidden, select all. Let's go to bisect. Let's go straight down. Let's reset these to 0, 0, 1. Then let's clear outer. And now we're going to just check the width of the car. So we've got a little bit of a mismatch. So what we're going to do here is we're going to put cursor to world origin. Then we're going to make sure that we're pivoting around 3D cursor. Double click on the front and then scale in X just to get it as close as we can. Zoom right in and then scale in X. And let's have a look. Okay, so we could either nudge the back up a little bit to match that, but then this might be too high, or we just rework it and match it up manually, which I think is what we're going to do. So let us now isolate the back and see if there's anything we need to delete. I think we can delete the glass. We can delete these bits up here. And there is a bit of asymmetry going on here, so we have to navigate around that, but that's okay. That's okay. Let's get rid of the windscreen wiper on the back because we do not. Oh, that's interesting. If you hold down control, oh, the cursor keys next to the numpad rotate it. If you hold down control, it moves it left and right and up and down. That's good. So yeah, a little discovery there. Right, so we got rid of the windscreen wiper, which we do not need for obvious reasons. Then let's get rid of this, what looks like a shelf, I guess. That would have been the shelf inside the car. Let's get rid of that. And then we will be building, oh, we've got a shut line there and a shut line there. I think, what do we do? So we either have to build a shut line that goes off here somewhere and up, or we run it out before it gets to the back. So it could somehow go to here. So it goes across. Yeah, let's try that. That might be more interesting. But that might be more logical. Logic. Okay. So let's start by, let's select that and hide, select that and hide, select and hide, select and hide, select and hide those, and those, select and hide. Now let's select all of this, separate, bring that back, and what we're going to do now is let's check that this is symmetrical. So we can do that either by eye, or if we put on the mirror modifier and we toggle it on and off, there should be no changes. So I think that's good. So I think it's fairly symmetrical. So let's delete one half, let's select all, let's go tries to quads. Let's change that to 1. Let's see if we can, if it needs improving, but if we can, yeah, I think we can improve it there. So I'm just nudging the max shape angle up, and we are indeed getting some improvements in the tries to quad calculations. Let's go all the way to 180. 180! And that's good, so we'll leave that there. Let's bring the front in again, and then this time we're going to work the bonnet. So again, let's see, let's halve it first. So it's quite obviously symmetrical, so let's delete one half, and then what we can do here is we can attach that to that, or join it rather, join that to that, and we can quickly join the back with the front, like so. Let's clean this up a little bit. Let's simplify this, and let's just make one big n-gon here, like so. Let's carefully continue with caution, of course. Let's delete these top bits, which we will not need. We can probably make sure that auto merge is on, and we can potentially simplify this area here too. Let's turn on snapping, and let's see. So we're gonna see about making this split line go along like that and shooting off to the side like so. So let's just grab these. We're just going to simplify this area up here first, but what is that? So we're going to go quickly have a look at our model. I think that's just the split line there, so we don't need that yet. Is that just a guide? I guess that's the guide. Does it run underneath it? That's very interesting, isn't it? Well, it's not that interesting. It's just a little bit interesting. It is interesting when you work with these models and you see how stuff is done. So this one here, the shut line is actually over flush to the component that it's being a shut line to, and the actual component underneath it runs all the way until it meets the fender here. So in this case, as I say, if I select the shut line there and separate it and hide the shut line, you can see the actual bonnet continues all the way to the fender, which, as I said, is mildly interesting. Right, so let's select those, slide them over like that. Let's we've not tries to quadded this, tries to quadded. So let's select those and let's go tries to quads. Beautiful, there we go. Okay, and now we are going to, let's detach or separate the front fender. So separate, and let's do the same thing on the offside. But we're going to delete that one because we don't need it. Because we're just going to mirror this one over. And now we can attach that to that, or join that to that. Let's turn on mirror. Let's have a look at it. And now let's carefully join these components. So I'm just going to clean up any rogue vertices there, like those, and these are a result from the bisect we did earlier. Let's get rid of those, and with a cleaner topology layout there, we can now start attaching the front with the back. So let's see, as I said earlier, we're going to nudge these upwards. Let's turn on, let's make sure that the pivot point is active element, and now we'll get the gizmo, and then let's snap that one to there, this one to there, this one to there, this one to there, that one to there, that one to there, that one to there. This is just temporary for now, just to get things moving. We're gonna distribute these a little bit more evenly, and actually we've got two vertices here going into one and then back into two there. So what we can do is select those two. It's not that easy, is it? We can hide or nudge that one over and just create a cut. Oops. We can create a cut from here that aims towards that one. Then we're going to snap that to that, slide that one over, and then we're going to get rid of this edge here. Then let's slide these over and slide those up like so. Let's clear custom split normal data, and then let's add a weighted normal modifier to that. Let's see how we're looking, shall we? So we're going to need a split line there. So let's grab these and these, delete. So see, so we've got a crease going there. So I wonder if this crease needs to run into that one. I think it might need to. Let's get rid of that fake split line there, and then let's have a quick look at the reference. So the reference, what was that then? It looks like there's a feature that shoots down, but I think that's just some lost in translation stuff because it doesn't really appear to be there. So what that means is we could, let's consider running this into this. So what I'm going to do here is slide these down. Let's put a bevel weight on there. Let's put a bevel modifier to the stack, put it at the top of the stack, change that to 1 and that one to angle, and then let's make it run all the way down here. Let's turn bevel weight on, or let's apply it to that edge. Let's adjust the geometry a little bit, make sure that line runs a little bit nicer. A little bit of sliding, a little bit of nudging, like so. And then we somehow got to go from up there all the way to there. But how, I hear you ask, and that is a very, very valid point, because I don't know. So we're just going to play it by ear over here and have no fear, because we're together, my dear. Did I use dear already? Maybe not. Right, okay, so we need to go from there to there. can we simplify these so they're a bit similar, more similar to each other? I think we can. So I've simplified that one even more, when actually we need to simplify the front one a little bit. So this matches that one a bit better. So let's slide these, slide those over like that. So that one is going to run into there. That's going to run into there. So we've got two additional ones. So for now, let's just do that. And then let's see. This looks like it should do something more like this. Keep it going. That's it. That's it. That's it. And let's isolate these, and then let's have a look at our curve. So let's distribute these a little bit nicer. So these are getting bigger. Sorry, from big to small. So at the moment they're not, but they will be. So we've got biggest, smaller, 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 smaller towards the front. And as well as that, we need to make sure that the line is running nicely as well. So what we really want is the highest point to be up here somewhere, and then it drops down towards the rear. So let's just do that in isolation and see how much we've messed up the geometry with everything turned on. So something like that would be good. Top view, the widest point should be here as well. So we're just going to pull it out and then pull these out. Top view, we're only moving in X. Side view, we're only moving in Z, so that we don't mess up the good work in opposing views. That looks okay, but I do think that what we need to do here, so we've got a bit of a dip just in there. So if we just raise that one up like that, and then maybe raise that one up as well, and then that one just a touch as well, just so they look better in other views. That one needs to go, oops, that one needs to go up. Let's see what we can do in top view. So if that one goes out, and this one goes out a little bit as well, that's improving this view. Let's nudge this one out as a little bit as well. Let's zoom in here a little bit so we can see what's going on. Let's bring the rest of the geometry in. Okay, so let's have a look, see what mess we've made here. Let's turn on perspective. Let's turn on the wheel. Let's turn on a little bit of shading, and let's see what we've got. Looks like it's hopping on one wheel, doesn't it? Boing, boing. So let's quickly remedy that. Just to give it a bit of a stance. Our scaler should be the same height as the wheel. So let's quickly find out the height of that, which is 241.11. So let's paste that into here. Then let's select the scaler. Let's put cursor to selected. Oh, you can't, no, I've disabled selection. So enable selection, select scaler. Let's put cursor to selected. Let's select all, and let's put origin to 3D cursor. Now what we can do is, first of all, well, let's mirror these over, as that's what we came for in the first place. So let's double click on wheel, isolate that. Let's hide the rotates for a second. Select the wheel. Let's go to, actually let's select all, and let's add a add modifier. And what I'm going to try and do here is something I've not tried before. I'm curious if it works. So I'm going to hold down Alt as I do this and add a mirror modifier and see if it adds. Wow, that's so good. So with the Alt button, whatever you do, if you hold down Alt when you're doing it, it will do it to multiple things. So in this case, I've got two objects here. Actually, I'll show you what I did. So let's say, for example, two objects. wheel and rim, they have no modifiers on. So to add the mirror modifier, I could either select a tire, go to add, and then go to mirror, and then do the same thing for the wheel, or I could select the wheel, then the tire, and then do Control L, and then link or copy modifiers, and it will copy that. Or, as I just discovered there, is you can, you can select both items, hold down the Alt key, and then go to generate and add mirror, and it will, because I'm holding down Alt, it will add that modifier to everything that's selected, which is brilliant. Brilliant. Thank you, Blender, for being brilliant. Right, okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to select scalar, then we're going to select everything, and then we are going to, what are we going to do? We're going to do set parent to that, and then what this allows us to do, we've parented everything to that scalar, and now it's really high up. So actually what we should do before we do that, and before we even do that, we should move the rear collection into the main collection and then delete that collection. Then we can select all this stuff, go to edit, select all this stuff, go to edit mode, make sure nothing is hidden, turn off auto merge, select all again, and then we're just going to nudge this down a lot, and let's nudge it back a little bit as well, just to balance it a little bit better. Enter. That looks way better, really a lot better. Oh, we didn't even check the width, but luckily it looks like the width is all good. It's all good. Right, okay, so let's go back to this. Let's see how that corner there is looking, and it's looking a little bit funky. Okay, so what we need to do here, very wide up there, very wide indeed. If we just have a quick look at the original, so that crease is all the way over there, so that's a problem. That is a bit of a problem because it looks a bit top heavy. So what we're going to try and do is we're going to use our world famous just invented a new word, world famous scaling technique. So everything is parented to that empty, and now when I change the scale, we can scale it in and we can make micro adjustments with full confidence that we're going to get beautiful flowing lines. So let's crack on. Let's select that one. So we want this to be widest point, but it's just too wide. It's too wide. With such a small car, we can't afford to be playing around with such a dramatic shape. So we're going to move that right in. As long as it's further outboard than this point, and we can't really do much with that point, we can maybe nudge it in a little bit like that. And then this one in as well, like so. As long as I said, as long as it's further outboard than that, which at the moment, it looks like it isn't. No, it isn't. So it's got to be further outboard than that, which is something like that. So it's going to be relatively flat, which is what it is, because it's a small car. And then as soon as we go past that point, we can start pushing it inboard in X. And there we go. Let's have a look at side view. We can maybe nudge that down. Okay, good. Okay. And then let's turn off the scaling for a sec. Let's have a look. Make those all one. Okay, that's good. That's good. Okay, so what we're going to do next is move the next row of vertices, which are these ones. So let's grab do you know what, let's simplify these a little bit. So let's slide those over, let's slide these over. Oops, let's make sure auto merge is on. Let's undo those, auto merge on, slide those over, slide these over. Let us delete those, and let's slide these over. And now we have a lot less geometry to deal with, so we can align the next row, which is this one, a lot easier with the next one down, which is that one. So what I'm going to do quickly here is get rid of that one as well. And this is just temporary. We know the split line is there, but we do want all these lines to be running nicely. So what we're going to do here is, let's just nudge these over like so. We could probably snap that to that. Auto merge is on, which is okay. Let's merge these. That's good. Let's may as well merge those as well. Right, so let's turn off auto merge off down there. And let's see. Okay. Slide these down, slide these over. Right, so let's work with top view first. So we're just going to slide those, slide these down and over, and these over like so. So what we're looking for here is a nice consistent flow of edges and vertices. So in side view, you can see it goes, the thickness here gets narrower over here until there's like an inflection just there, and it goes wider again, which is not what we want. We want consistency. So we either go up on these, and then this one here would have to go up as well like this, and then as it goes towards the back it becomes wider until it hits this point. So that's what we could do to start with, and let's see how it's looking from the top view. Top view is looking okay, and then let's nudge that one inwards like so. Let's nudge these in like that, those like that, and then let's let's see what we can do here. So they go down. So have we pushed those too far on the edge there? Looks like it. So we got rid of that feature there. So we either need to push the whole bonnet up to give us this, or we leave it flat. I think we do need to push it up a little bit. So let's just grab, let's grab everything from, let's turn off, oh, it's already off. Let's grab everything from the center like this. Oops. Let's grab all of these points and let's shear these up a little bit like this. Oh yeah, look at that power. That's definitely given us a lot of power. What we can do here actually is we can make that scoop more powerful by adjusting just the power scoop. And let's grab those and that Fugazi split line, and then we're just gonna shear those up like so, and that's gonna give us more power. Actually, not that one, or that one, or these. So let's shear these up and maybe a little bit back, or let's scale that from that point, scale in Y like so. Let's see how that looks. Oh yeah, that's very, very powerful looking now, isn't it? Okay, good. So let's have another quick look at with the wheels on. Let's turn the wheels on, push the collection up, and let's have a look at them all nice and shaded. Okay, so we've got a little bit of an issue here with texturing. So what we're going to do is isolate those. Let's go to UV mapping, delete that, and looks like we have two shaders there potentially. Yes, we do. Let's delete that one, and let's see what shader that one there is. So that one, let's just rename that one body color. body color, and body color. So let's change that one. So we've got some UV mapping going on there. We want to keep that, so let's just keep it two-tone for now. Let's keep it two-tone. And let's have a look. It's coming on quite nicely, if I say so myself. Alright, let's just quickly have a look without the background, because it's distracting a little bit, I think. So let's go shader editor, let's go to object. No, sorry, not object. Let's go back to world and oops. Let's just drag that over like that. Let's make the background this color, and then let's change our ground plane object to, let's delete that. Let's put in a color ramp and an ambient occlusion. Let's move the color into factor and then color into surface, and then select this one on the right and then drag this color over into there. And then we have the background as one plain color with only just a shadow, which we are getting from this node set up here. If we nudge that over a little bit, we can make the shadow a little bit darker. This little technique I got from what's his name? His stuff is really good. If you go to object browser, he's got this car shader pack. Just Google it. It's really good. But this is where I got this little technique from. It's very good. Okay, right. So let's quickly finish. Actually, hold on. Let's quickly save it. Have we saved? We haven't saved. It's very important to save. There's nothing more embarrassing than losing your work or crashing and then having to say, "Oh no, I didn't save." Very incompetent. So just don't do it. Okay? Well, whatever. Do it if you want, but I wouldn't. But you know, if it happens, then yeah, don't worry about it. Right, okay, so let's quickly, what are we doing? What are we doing? Okay, we just need to, oh yeah, the gap, the split line. Are we going to have it go like that and like this, or is it just going to go straight down? Let's try having it just go across and shooting off to the side, so it's similar to the real car, or the full car, should I say, not the real car, because this is definitely real. I'm a real car. Okay, so let's nudge those, scale those up a little bit, just to give it a little bit more oomph, so it really means business. Let's slide these up a little bit like that. Let's slide that one back down. Let's give this a little bit of crown like this. And let's just, actually, let's just tear this. And then separate that. And then let's, what's that bit there do? We can, I wonder if we can get rid of that. Yeah, let's get rid of that little step there for now. Auto merge on, slide those down. Let's select all, let's go merge by distance, which is of course French for distance. Now let's go, let's add a loop cut there. And let's add another one here to attach it to. And we're going to add a little bit of crown to that shape there. And we're going to add a loop cut between those two. Slide those along. Slide that one along like so. Let's grab these. Let's add an n-gon in there. And then let's add a square there. And let's have a look. Let's have a look, shall we? Those will go along. Slide those. We're just doing a little bit of housekeeping, tidy up there. This is just some quick sort of fixing, just to give us a volume, shape, and a better idea and understanding of where we're trying to get to. So we're just going to slide these over. So what we're looking for here is if we select our scalar and we scale it in X, what we want is neighboring edges to be following. So we've got this one, which is close to the original car, is doing something like that. So the one above it is doing something very odd. So what we want to do is want at least these to be similar, or have some sort of relationship with the ones next to it. And that relationship in this case, I think, will be either just an offset or some sort of a taper, but certainly it will be going in some sort of similar direction, which I think we are starting to achieve now. While we're here, let's have a look what's going on up there. So let's turn this into 3D viewport. Let's go to side view, and then let's see what is that and that in rear view. So these two are looking good relative to these two. I guess maybe this one can go up and over, but I imagine in top view, no, that's still good in, is it? No, we want to leave the X in that one, but we certainly, I think, want to move that one up. The next one along is going to be there, so you want to be able to see a little bit of it in this rear view. The next ones along are nowhere to be seen, so if we just drag those over like that and then drag these down, let's see, can we do anything here? Let's nudge these over like so, and then let's see what's going on here. If in this view we would like this to probably be somewhere like this and this one to be here, but is that going to ruin top view? Undo, undo, redo, redo. So was that going to cause us problems? Let's see, halfway house, what that'll do. Let's nudge this one down. Let's nudge this one down a touch. And actually, I think we would be better off if we nudged that one over like so. And that one as well. There we go, okay. And let's have a look. Let's nudge this one up. This one up. Okay, there we go. And let's have a look. Let's have a look at that inside in rear view. So this tapering, I'm not sure if we want. So, and over here certainly it doesn't look good. So that's opens up a little bit of an opportunity to make them more similar to each other. So we're going to move those down. We're going to move these down, and we are improving this relationship. So it's becoming more of an offset rather than tapering up here, which tapering is okay, but as I said, if it fixes something in the other side in another view and there's no harm to that view, then just go ahead and do it. It's absolutely fine. Right, there we go. So let's have a look. Let's turn the wireframe off. Let's turn off the scalar back to 1. And let's see how that's looking. That is looking, how does that split line look going off like that? I mean, this car is a little quirky little thing, so maybe, I don't know, I think that needs to go straight down. This split needs to go straight down like this, and then maybe give it a little bit of an angle like that, so we've got a nice offset from this, so these two lines are talking to each other, and I think that's what we're going to go ahead and do. So let's go top view, slide these over like this, and I'm going to snap to top 3/4 view. So I'm going to snap to this view here like so, and I'm going to just make a nice cut that goes something like that. No, actually, hold on. We want to give it a little bit of an angle adjustment. So we're going to go one cut to there, and the next cut is going to be slightly leaning over. Like, actually, hold on. Leaning over a little bit, so that it's similar somewhat to that edge. Now let's go in rear view. I'm going to just nudge these over a little bit like so. Let's see how they're talking to that line. I think they're looking A-okay. And I'm going to grab that. Oops. I'm going to grab that. I'm going to tear it there. I'm going to select that area, separate that selection, then merge or join that with that. Then we're going to snap that to that, make sure auto merge is on. We're going to just slide that up in X, slide that one up in X, and move it up in Z as well, like so. Let's have a look at that. Yeah, that split that's definitely what it's all about, isn't it? That's how it's meant to look. Yes, very good, very good. Okay, and now I'm wondering if this should be shooting up a little bit so that it's aiming more towards this. And actually, I think that's what it needs to do. So let's slide. So that's where the split line was before. So we've got a little bit of a break there. So we just make sure that they're merged like so. Turn off snapping. Let's slide those up like that. Let's slide those up a little bit. And then what's going to happen here is we're gonna align this so that it's aiming somewhat in that direction. And then once this is applied, this will be a bevel, which we can then aim up and then into this edge here, like so, into that bevel there basically. So let's once again delete. No, there are no weighted normals on there. Is there weighted normals on this one? There are, okay. Okay, that's okay. So we need to just... Oops, what's that? Oh, so we've got... Well, let's check the normals first. Normals are good. We've got something funny there, and the reason for that is, A, we've got a triangle there, and then B, we've got a E-pole there, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 edges coming to a vertex. That's an E-pole. And then we've got this edge which just stops, this bevel edge which stops there. So let's first of all make sure that we're happy with that edge, and then we can destroy it, and then we can just merge that up with that. Not destroy it, I mean apply it. Never destroy stuff. Okay, good. Right, so let's see. So this, let's just move these down a little bit because the curvature there is a bit too much perhaps. Maybe move these down like this. Maybe that one as well, like so. So it's not so curvy. Let's see how that's looking in these views. Let's have a look in top view. And I think, yeah, so we've got a little bit of a concave and convex. Concave, convex. Bit of pinching there basically, so we don't really want that. So let's just move these down a little bit further. And then that one, and then that one over like so. That one a little bit more, and then this one like so. Okay, that's better. There's still a tiny little bit of pinching going on here, so we're just going to move those over like that. Those over and down. Okay, and then those over like so, and then that one. Okay, good. Right, so I'm just going to slide that one and that one over as well, just so we've got a better distribution. And I think this one back up again. So we've still got a bit of a flat there. So I think what I'm going to do here instead is move these up. So scale Z, and then we can move these up a little bit like so, and it'll be nice to have a vertex somewhere here. So let's slide these over a touch, move those, oops, undo, move those up, move that one up and over like that. So we've got a similar curvature there. Let's have a look, and let's now move this one down. Let's have a look in top view, over and out. And let's have a look, that one needs to go over. So we've got big, small, big. We do not want that. That is not what we want. So we're going to just slide those over, slide those. We're going to distribute these, oops, distribute these evenly. And let's have a look. Let's just have a look. Okay, good. So I wonder what we can do here is we can add a loop cut just there, slide those up, get rid of those triangles and join those, get rid of these two triangles, and we can add a little bit of, let's have a look at the real deal. So this one is just got a bit of crown in this direction, whereas in our one is very sheer just here, my dear, so have no fear. Let's have a go at moving these out. So scale X, let's grab these, scale X like that, there we go. Oof, yeah, that's nice, that's much better, much better. Let's quickly grab these again, scale out like so. And if you have a look in side view, slide up, over, up, over, up. Slide those up and over as well. Let's slide. Alright, so you've got two triangles here. So what we can do here with those two triangles, grab those, merge at center. Let's got rid of two triangles. Okay, let's have a look. Let's see if we can improve this sheer flat face here. So we need a little bit of a volcano action going on there, but we don't need it as much. So what we can do here is if we grab those, isolate them, use our world famous scaling, but this time in Z, select that again, and we can scale those in X like so. Let's move those in X. There we go, that is much nicer. And actually we can keep the idea of a wheel arch volcano there by sort of cheating a little bit by nudging these over a little bit, and then we can move these back out. Now this won't be so sheer, and let's bring those back in, and let's see, let's look at the next row of vertices. So that was that one, and now if we grab the next one along, isolate it, let's turn off face orientation, and then let's grab these so that they follow those ones a little bit closer. So we're going to just nudge those out, nudge those out. So as I said before, we want relationships between neighboring edges. And let's have a look what's going on here. So that one looks like it needs to be doing something like what it's doing. But what we can do is we can just reduce that feature a little bit, and that will help us with the overall side, which is good. Okay, let's go back to this one now. So let's see how that's looking. That could probably move over a touch like that, and this one can move in a little bit too. And then let's see what's going on here. Let's move this indicator. Let's bring these back in. I'm just going to nudge those and those and those. Let's have a look. Alright, let's get rid of those triangles and those. Oops. Put a face in there. Okay, good. Let's undo the scaling, put that back to 1. And let's have a look what we have got here. Let's turn on perspective. Let's have a look at shaded view. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is looking good. Let's have a look. Let's change the shader in there so it's dark. What we can use here actually is assign that to there, and then what we can do is add a mesh shader in there. I'm going to use the Udin design shaders. These are also very good. So let's go to metal, and where is it? Metal mesh, there we go. Let's add a nice little mesh in there, which we cannot see, so that's not good. Let's try a different color one. Let's see if, there we go. Okay, good. So let's grab that and let's change the color of that, make it a little bit darker. So shader, change the color to something a little bit darker, and actually I would like a hexagon shape. Is that hexagon? Yeah, there it is. So let's go for a hexagonal one. Zoom in. Let's change that to something a little bit darker. And there we go. Something like so. And I think that, ladies and gentlemen, actually hold on. Let's just add a little bit of camber to those wheels, and we're going to do that by using our empty. So let's first of all change the size of that empty to something smaller, and then let's quickly parent. Let's parent. Right, let's get this right, shall we? So we're going to parent the rim and the tire to that empty called rotate, but then we're going to duplicate that, and that one is going to be called wheel. Then we're going to change, we're going to put the rotates into wheel, and now what we can do is move that empty out in X just to give it a little bit more of a stance. And of course it's moving the one on the offside as well. So what we're going to do here, so let's do this first. Let's move it out something like that. Let's round it off. Let's go to 718, and then if we go into the actual rim, we can change the mirror object to scalar, and we can do that on the tire as well. So let's grab that, let's select the scalar, and now let's go to wheel and let's give it a little bit of camber. 2 degrees, should we call it 2 degrees? And actually let's make these wheels a little bit thicker as well. So let's get rid of that for now. Let's grab that and let's slide those over. There's quite a lot of tire crush there now. Oh yeah, that is what I'm talking about. Yeah, that's it. That's the one. That, ladies and gentlemen, is what I am talking about. What does that say? Aventador. Probably says what it's called. Avanzato. R. That looks pretty mean. as always, it's been an absolute pleasure sharing this with you guys. It's been a great journey. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've learned something, and I would love it if you joined me again for another one, which should be coming up very soon. So yeah, thank you very much, and goodbye.